We'll skip the introductions this week. Most of you that I can see in the audience here are well aware of who we are. For those that aren't, if you listen back to the space that is from last Wednesday, you'll get a full introduction from the team. Some of the people that are here, others who aren't. But today we'll go straight into it. And it's been less than a week since we last spoke. Is this a new cadence? Weekly spaces, weekly AMAs? Is this what we want? Oh, lots of likes. We'll try our best. But in that week, so much has happened. So most of us, pretty much all of us, have returned home. Some from MWC 24 in Barcelona. Of course, there's a few of us that live around the area. But more importantly, on Thursday, we launched AirNode Sales. We opened for early access whitelists and gave registrants, the lucky registrants, 48 hours to secure an available location and an AirNode. And by Saturday morning, European time, all the AirNodes sold out. Somebody took down the Titan. It was before we even had the chance to open the public sale. So over the next hour, we are limited by time again today. We've got 1 hour. We're going to pick up where we left off last Wednesday, tackle some of the most asked questions that we've seen since launch. We've been tracking everything. Got a good idea of the topics that people want covered. But most importantly, we're going to open the floor to you, the community, to get your questions answered. So let's kick it off. Micky, I'm mindful that some people joining might just have heard about us following last week's exciting launch. For those who aren't aware, what is the objective of the recent launch? What are AirNodes and what do they mean for the future of connectivity?
The objective of the recent launch is our vision. Half the world is unconnected. Many of us on this call, as just demonstrated, are underserved, and no single company can fix it alone. Not your Facebook, not your Microsoft, not your Googles, all the 850 mobile operators out there. Can you guys hear me? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, we hear you.
Fantastic. So we believe that a sharing economy is what is needed to fix this problem, and a sharing economy built by people who know telecom, but run by the people for the people. So Operation AirNode, the AirNode Sales Platform, as we're calling it today, the vision is that we'll be able to build mobile networks that serve both cellular, mobile handsets, and home and office broadband connections through one site, connecting hosts and operators and enabling them to become essentially a mini AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, but collectively potentially a bigger network than all of them. So it's a monumental moment, and it's a very special moment.
So the platform is now live at airnode.worldmobile.io, and since public beta, it's undergone a significant change. The map is now front and center, and it is our new Explorer. So Micky, tell us about the Explorer and how it works.
The Explorer is essentially a Tinder for telecoms. It connects a host with an operator or an operator with a host. It allows, in its current state, for several different parties to come in and be part of this mobile network, to provide the CapEx and the OpEx, or provide the security and the location, or indeed the same person can do all of those functions. As we move further into the future of the Explorer, we'll be adding many other ways for people to participate. The end goal is that this Explorer, from 0 to 100%, you'll be able to build a mobile network. And we'll add these different features in, different types of nodes, different types of switches, different types of backhaul, marketing, hexes, all types of gamification, all types of ways to make this new economic model that incentivizes people to put up infrastructure where it's lacking or there is none, make it a very exciting and fruitful endeavor.
Exciting. And on the last space, we confirmed that the new Explorer ecosystem tab is going to be the future home of WMT scan. So what metric should we expect to see there? And at the minute, the numbers are slightly different to what we're seeing on WMT scan. Well, what's happened there?
We've got Antonio on the call, so we can bring him later to answer this. But the end goal is that everything will be moved to the Explorer, and you'll be able to interact and see and find and understand whatever you need to understand to make the decision. Do you want to become part of this potentially biggest sharing economy in the world, and certainly the strongest sharing economy in telecoms now? Or do you just want to sit by the sidelines, gathering that information and understanding what we're doing? But will all be there. You'll be able to access this as the place to go to understand the World Mobile Network, its partners, its ecosystem, and so on.
And Alan, AirNode Batch 1 sold out. Will Reno AirNode data become available on the Explorer? And what type of data will we see on there? Will it be earnings, usage, users? What can we expect?
Yes, absolutely. So initially, those things you just mentioned, the key data that people would expect to see, how many users, whether it's active, whether connected, what kind of traffic has gone through the node, what kind of rewards are being received on nodes. But in the future, it's got to show a lot more than that. Really, this is about bringing transparency to communications and the telecom industry so that people can see what kind of quality service they're getting. So today, we all know that the quality of service we're getting is not what is claimed, okay? The reality is very different from what we're being sold. So one of the key things with this is blockchain, with its transparency and immutability, is going to show that quality of service that is clear and is backed up by real data.
Looking forward to that. And just navigating around the Explorer, I mean, I'm actually on it at the moment. We see different layers. We've got CBRS, WMS, which is World Mobile Spectrum. I know some of the questions that we've had from the community and beyond is around the differences there, and how that impacts the different AirNode packages. We got the portals, 180, the 360, and the Titan.
Sure. So, your CBRS node it's a higher density and a shorter range spectrum, and it's a shared spectrum, which is available in the US. Whereas World Mobile Spectrum is a band 71, and it goes much further. So you need a combination of the two to give good coverage and good network service in an area. There are many deep-in DY operators who may have attempted to provide a network, and they use a single spectrum, which the end result hasn't been the best quality of service. So our approach is to ensure that it's a proper mobile service, so you get the longer range coverage through the World Mobile Spectrum nodes, the Titan nodes that can go 18, 20 kilometers, and the CBRS nodes, which is much shorter range, which gives that density and the ability to get the high-speed broadband.
Exciting. And looking across the tabs on the top of the Explorer, one thing that really stands out is the earnings calculator. So what exactly does that show, and what factors does the algorithm behind the scenes take into account?
Sure. So each of the nodes has a different set of parameters. Just 1 second, bear with me. So the slider that you see, there's a number of subscribers that goes from 0 up to the amount of users you may expect to see on a node. There are certain parameters and variables which have been used as that are sets from industry. Yeah, from industry variables. The net revenue is taken from the industry 40% of net revenue for this type of service, and the typical broadband user in the US is approximately $50.
There's a massively complex Excel sheet. James Tagg is in the middle of writing or asking to sign off the blog. So expect that in the next couple of weeks to be released. But there's factors in there that are not taken into consideration, like wholesale traffic generation. That means when a national mobile network operator or an international mobile network operator comes into your network. There's other services that, like IPTV, television services, streaming services, have not been taken into account. So we've done the bare minimum to take it into account, but we've based it all on national averages and on the standards in the USA.
So just as a summary of the key things, it's based on the range and capacity of each unit, the number of subscribers and users, the average cost of the subscriber package. There's also an overwatch rate, which is on band 71, which for providing coverage over a particular area, then there's an amount of revenue that can be earned from that. But yeah, things that aren't included, things like the maintenance and the running costs. Yeah.
Okay, that's incredibly helpful. We're going to move on now and focus on some of the questions that we've received across social media and community platforms over the past couple of days. We're going to try and get through these as quick as possible so we can open the floor to questions from the community. But before we just jump into those, just to recap, so what exactly are the ways a user can get involved with World Mobile and AirNode sales?
Right now, the way the user gets involved is either by being a host operator, or being an operator. They're the three major functions that a user can perform. There's also a partner tab, so people who want to come to speak to us about opening up essentially a franchise of World Mobile in their area or in the PEA designated FCC areas, then we're building up quite a nice list there of people that are interested. But in the future, and I don't mean the near future, we'll be able to be in quite a good position where Scan for Points will be displayed on there, and people can actually see their efforts, log in, understand areas they've scanned, see future missions or current missions to scan, and prizes and all different types of cool things that we can gamify to get the data that we need. But then there's also areas that will be open for Wi-Fi, World Mobile Wi-Fi hotspots, World Mobile indoor Wi-Fi. There'll be spaces that are opened up for people buying the CPEs, for people potentially facilitating the finances for telephones as a mobile network. In some cases, people want to come and get the latest iPhone or the latest Android phone, and they want that in the convenience of their plan. So again, every single element of running a mobile network, installing a mobile network, building out the infrastructure for a mobile network, there'll be a place for anybody, from as low as $49.99 as a node in Pakistan to as high as $7-8 million for a massive aerostat that can cover huge distances at 1,000 meters. So there's a place for everybody. As you know, that there's also, we'll touch on it later, marketing budget assigned inside that budget too, inside the unit economics. So we've tried to make it that anyone can be a part of this mobile network, and I think we're going to succeed.
A lot of information there. One thing you did mention that I just want to be clear, CPE. What's the CPE?
The CPE is the unit that somebody will receive who takes a home broadband connection or a business broadband connection at their property in order to receive the backhaul to then plug that into a Wi-Fi unit. World Mobile will do all of this for the end customer. The end customer experience will be pretty good, but there will be needed equipment. So all of that equipment should be possible for anyone to own.
Exciting. And who can become a host or an operator or host operator? Are there any restrictions or anything that people need to do beforehand?
Essentially, anybody can. If you want to become a host, you need to prove that you have long-term rental on your property or ownership or permission to launch on a certain property. And it has to be in areas that we're building out or that we're focusing on in the initial stages. But in the middle stages, anyone will be able to open up and become a host, and the map will be populated with sites where there are already hosts that properties are taken by an operator, or hosts where they're open for business for an operator. Anybody can become part of the World Mobile Network. Anybody can become a host, and anybody can become an operator as long as they've got the tools that they need to do those functions.
And can you shed a little bit of light on the validation process for hosts? I know that was something that came up a couple of times on Telegram, actually, over the past few days. So kind of what is it that we're doing to verify hosts?
Somebody applies to become a host. They upload the necessary documentation and the pictures and confirm that they've got a suitable internet connection that they're allowed to resell, as well as a suitable location where they can, on their house, where they can put it. We then have an internal team that say, okay, this house doesn't qualify because there's a big brick wall in front of it, and it's not going to serve a good purpose. Or yes, this house is perfect; it qualifies for a 180, a 360, or a Titan, or any of the other nodes that we'll be releasing.
Okay, and if you're an AirNode operator, before you're able to purchase your AirNodes, you have to agree terms with the host. So how do agreements work, Alan?
Yeah, sure. So it's pretty straightforward through the websites. Once you've selected that location, you've had that initial discussion with the host, or vice versa. If you're the host and you're having a discussion with a potential operator, once they've agreed that this is something they want to proceed with, then both the host and the operator have the option to accept the terms. The terms they can download, they can view the terms, make sure they're in agreement. And at that point, they will accept the terms and they will be emailed out and use DocuSign type solution just to sign those agreements. So very straightforward. Yeah.
It's a very similar process to Airbnb and Uber, to other big sharing economies. Initially, a manual verification of the host, making sure that the host and the operator have a business relationship and it's cemented via a contract, and off you go.
Okay, and how do AirNode operators pay, and how long do they have to settle the payment?
So again, as part of the process that you go through the website, when you get to that point of purchasing the AirNode, then you'll be able to make the payment through a Stripe or fiat payments or crypto.com currently for crypto payments, but we're also looking at adding additional mechanisms for people to make payments in the future. Web3 interfaces and other ways that people will be able to pay. There's also another way that we'll be adding in the future for people to be able to pay over a period of time. So we've got a partner who's going to be integrated, and people will be able to, buy and make payments over a period of time through this partner.
Okay, and I've bought my AirNode. How long does it take between purchasing and the installation process?
So typically, you're looking at 30 to 60 days. So it really just depends in terms of, delivery, stock, and installation. But, our expectations are between the sort of 30 and 60 days. It could be done a lot sooner, but it really just depends on everything being aligned and, seeing what the demand is. And as you can see, the demand was, pretty high and pretty rapid in this first batch. But as we go to further batches, there should be good stock availability and flow.
Okay, and who's responsible for the installation? Is this something that AirNode operators need to manage themselves?
So we don't expect, we're not expecting people to go out and do the installation themselves. It'll be somebody that we'll introduce you to, and then you need to organize a time and a date with the host, and the operator will agree on that process. For the operator, there is some work they need to do. This isn't a pure capex, pay money for a piece of kit. They do have a responsibility as an operator to do things like arranging the installation. They're not expected to go out, with a toolkit and do it themselves, but we will introduce people, and eventually there'll be a marketplace for installers.
Exciting. Looking forward to that one. And in terms of insurance, there's a few questions around insurance for AirNodes. What's our position on that? And do we suggest a provider in the process? I think Micky's back now.
Yes, I'm back. Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. We already have a couple of deals that we would like to put up on the site. It's a third party, of course, so the operator will need to
We're
speak
losing
to
you
the
a little
insurer
bit, Micky.
themselves, but we've done a lot of work. Yeah, I'm not too sure. This is not the World Mobile Network in Spain yet. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's just breaking up a little bit. Do you want to continue? I think we caught a little bit of your response there.
There are third-party insurance options that we'll be putting on the website on
Okay,
the AirNode Sales Platform.
Fantastic. And I think looking back over some of the questions that we had post-launch, I think a few people were querying regarding who's responsible for attracting subscribers. And I just want to reiterate that, of course, we want AirNode operators and hosts to participate in being advocates for World Mobile and supporting the cause by, offering things like referral codes and driving word of mouth. But it's really important that we clarify that, World Mobile will be supporting with its own marketing in all of the areas that we're active in, similar to what's been happening in Zanzibar and already what's happening in Reno, which we can touch a little bit more on later on. Another question we've had as well is around maintenance. Like, how often do AirNodes require maintenance? What's the lifespan, and who manages that?
Look, I mean, there's very little or no maintenance. Typical lifespan is 7 to 10 years, really. Who manages the maintenance? Well, if something actually went wrong, then your operator is going to have to arrange for a call out for potentially the people that did the original installation, or somebody to go and repair something. But it's very solid equipment with a typical 7 to 10 year lifespan.
Okay, in terms of payments, when and how do AirNode operators get paid?
So it's monthly in arrears after the first full month. Again, it's you go to the dashboard and you'll claim your payment, and then the payment will be sent to wherever it is you've set up in your dashboard to receive the payment.
Okay, and in terms of revenue split between operators and hosts, what's the kind of default terms that are put forward at the moment?
So in the first batch, the default terms, you're looking at 75% of the net revenue, of which is split 15% to the host and 60% to the operator. Obviously, if you're a host operator, then you get that 70% of the net revenue. But again, this is something that for the future we want to see a marketplace. We want to see some competition, between the different hosts and operators on what amount of work they're willing to do, or what level of split they may work with. So, we see that as being adjustable in the future, but for now it's set on those parameters.
Okay, and another question on payments that's come up quite frequently is regarding management of taxes. Do AirNode operators have to manage their own tax liabilities? What's our position on that?
I'm afraid we can't give anybody tax advice. And we advise to seek out your local or specialist help on paying taxes. Everybody's situation is different. We have hosts, obviously, in the US currently, but looking at other parts of the world, and operators can be from anywhere in the world, and every jurisdiction is different. So I do advise checking out your local tax requirements.
That's great advice. There's been a few questions around subscribers, and do we have subscribers already? I'm proud and delighted to share that we do have subscribers already in Reno. We recently took to market a new broadband service, which is being marketed across the Reno area, and is actually utilizing some of the infrastructure that you've seen being installed across our social channels. I'm sure all of you have seen Christian on various rooftops over the last couple of months, and yeah, we are utilizing those pieces of infrastructure at this moment in time to deliver broadband services. But what's really exciting is that they will also be the same infrastructure that will be delivering the cell service. Micky, have you got anything to add on to that?
We're going all out. We realize that we've built a model here that is revenue driven, and we're making sure that we are offering exactly what an MNO would offer: a cellular service, national and international, travel, regional, as well as a broadband service, as well as IPTV, and we'll add as many value-added services into that as possible. So the services we're offering are going to be exactly as you would expect, and we're going to empower you to make sure that you can compete. We hope that we complement T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, but we also know that if 100,000 nodes go down in the United States of America over the coming months and years or more, then we compete. And these are all $90 billion a year revenue companies. And, maybe we'll be in the top 3, maybe we'll be in the top 4. But all I know is that together we're unstoppable. And as a community, we've got every chance.
There's been a few questions around licensing and kind of hex fees, node fees. How much do AirNode operators have to pay for these licenses?
It's very reasonable. We want to make a sustainable model. For the first year, it's factored in. We'll then collect all the data sets over the next 6 months, understand that our projections, our predictions are correct, and we'll adjust accordingly. But we want to make it as affordable as possible for anyone to be in this. So you don't expect to be hit with outrageous, non-sustainable license fees. You expect to be hit with something that's fair.
Okay, and we've also had a couple of questions regarding if what happens if a host moves or loses access to the property, and the recommendation there always is initially that the AirNode stays in the same location, because it does benefit the new tenants, and of course we want to ensure that service will continue without any interruption. But if it's not possible, you will have the opportunity as an AirNode operator to be paired with a different AirNode host, as that is something that has been considered. But what happens if an AirNode operator needs to sell their right to operate an AirNode, Micky?
For this next couple of weeks, it will be, hey, I've got a node, this is what it's doing, I want to sell it, and they'll have to do a deal between them. When the new Web3 version of OPAN, of the AirNode Sales Platform, is released, you'll be able to mint an NFT, and you'll be able to sell the right via an NFT and directly take over the ownership within an instant of you agreeing with a third party who you want to sell to. So we've thought about this a lot. If we manage to put up hundreds of thousands of nodes, which I believe we will in the United States of America, I can see nodes, people needing to sell it because they need a wedding, or people needing to sell it because they want buy their kid a car. I can see that happening. So we're thinking about these things, and we know they're going to be highly desirable in the model that we've built. So we want to make the second-hand market very accessible. But we're also sure that the community themselves, who are incredible, will build, as long as we give them the tools to work with, they'll build multiple different marketplaces for reselling or exchanging or swapping or whatever function they want between people and the different elements on the network.
Can't wait for that Titan NFT. Looking forward to that hitting the market. Do AirNode operators need to operate an AirNode as a business entity, Alan?
No, they don't. They may find that they prefer to operate as a business entity. Everybody's circumstances are different, but no, you don't need to operate as a business, no.
Okay, and will financing become integrated into the payment options in future batches, Micky?
Definitely, it's actually ready to go now. We just haven't enabled that feature in these first 20. But we imagine that once we go public, we'll be able to offer in the United States financing options. But we're also looking to other countries as well. We're also looking to Mozambique, Zanzibar, and other places where people can pay a part every month to own an AirNode. Again, we want to lower the barrier to entry for everyone, right? We want everyone to have the chance to be able to buy an AirNode or be a part of the mobile network, because that's our success. That's the sharing economy working. So we've been working behind the scenes extremely hard on making accessibility to nearly all to be able to enter this sharing economy.
And last question before we start to look ahead. I've had a couple of DMs from people asking, do I have to have technical knowledge to operate an AirNode? Wanting to know more about CPI certification. Like, if I wanted to become an AirNode operator, do I need any licenses or technical knowledge to start?
It's preferable that you know how to read. Most of us do. We'll provide a lot of the information that will get you up to scratch with what an AirNode is, what the difference are between AirNodes. It will be good. You're becoming an operator, so you don't need to have that technical knowledge to start with at all. My mother could buy an AirNode now. She just needs to know how to chat, communicate, and how to send a transaction. But I bet that every AirNode operator becomes a semi-professional in the telecommunications world over quite a short amount of time, with the information that we'll be giving them and how they'll be speaking to the host and the installers. And I'm pretty sure that they'll multiply those very AirNode operators, and their knowledge will grow, and they'll be able to help and support other people. But it should be very easy, and it is very easy right now to come in and buy an AirNode. You just got to work and communicate and coordinate.
Fantastic. It's what we like to hear. So, batch 1, gone, sold out. Batch 2, when? ETA.
Yeah, you've got the best questions, haven't you, Mike? I think...
No ETA. We're going to drop it. And everyone's going to say, oh my God, this is the second batch, and it's going to be gone. And then we're going to carry on dropping it. It's going to be batches and batches and batches. But Alan, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's got to be sustainable, right? So there's a couple of things from this first batch. We've learned a lot, and we're a lot of feedback already. We're keen to make it easier process. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to commit to a date today, but we're keen to get the next batch out. But there's also there's the sustainability of the number of users on the network. So we're obviously working hard to ensure the usage on the network is there. What we don't want is an empty network without any usage, because that doesn't help anybody. So it's making sure that we grow it sustainably, and we will build it out together.
Okay, and last question before we move on to the open AMA. There's been a few people asking when the next batch comes. Will it be whitelisted again? And will there be an early access like with batch 1?
Yeah.
Just to confirm that, yes, that will be the approach. So if you're already on the whitelist, rest assured, check your emails. You will be kept up to date with what's happening and be the first to hear about when that opportunity will arise. If you're not on the whitelist and feeling a little bit of FOMO, we will be showing an update in the next couple of weeks and reopening the whitelist at join.worldmobile.io and give you an opportunity to get whitelisted so you can be first to hear about batch 2 when it drops. Right, let's get to taking your questions. Who's up first? It's none other than Elja. Elja Boom.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hey, Elja, how are
Very
you?
good.
I'm actually sad because I started my show, The Room of El Jaboom, and I wanted to have the pleasure for the first episode to be the one and only Micky. Unfortunately, till today, he disappointed me because, I mean, my goal in this life
I'm
to
on it.
connect the unconnected. So it was not better than having Micky in the first show. And like coming here asking him, when you gonna come? Even if I buy your ticket, it will be my pleasure. But this project and what is being done in this project, it's something that everyone need to look at. And in this space, I always say something very funny. I say what makes Web3 most likely is meme projects. But what is good about World Mobile, it's a real project with a real utility, with a real help and real economy that's shared to other people. So everyone can make money and participate in this. Plus, the entire team is funny. So it's a kind of meme with the real utility happening at the same time. And people need to see that. And I'm really happy to be in this community and I'm looking forward in the next month. I want to unleash my power and I don't want to say more, but I'm bullish about this project. I'm bullish about this team, and if this project didn't reach to where it should be, I'm gonna delete my entire Twitter account. I've never said this before. I'm not like other people who say this every tweet. But if this didn't reach, I'm really gonna stop this fucking Web3 and just go back to farm or something.
You're such a legend, a living legend. There's only one El Jaboom, and El Jaboom's in the house right now. I don't think many people know how we met, but it was just a telephone call. And from that telephone call, really became brothers. And thank you very much for your support. And you're one of the only people that comes in and supports in a way that it's not for your own personal gain. And that's like really respected, Elja. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think next up we've got Brandolph. And then who else is up? ENO22, Cardano, Mad Bull. Right, Brandolph, you're up. How's it going, man?
It's going great. I hope you can hear me. I'm just going back home from my gym. But
We hear you.
No Jägermeister
can't
today.
miss.
We can hear you
Can't
well.
miss
Are you on the eSIM?
a name. Can't miss an AMA. So I will be quick. Fantastic work. I want to congratulate you all. Enormous achievement. I don't have a technical question, rather than a geographical question. What happens if the AirNode in an area subdivided into hexagons is not at the center, but on the crossing of another property? And there is a host that wants to have his home to have an AirNode. And he's asking himself, well, I want to run an AirNode too, but it happens to be that my area is covered. So,
yeah, understood. Look, this is the first phase, okay? On each of the hexes, it's built to be sustainable, so we need a node in all the areas. But what we'll do is we'll also add the ability to have additional nodes in areas that need more capacity. So if you have a place that's on the edge or we don't have enough capacity in a particular area, then we'll be adding additional requirements for nodes in different areas. So, this is the first phase. As we see the coverage and we have people out scanning the network and seeing the real service quality and, highlighting where those holes in coverage are, then we'll add the need for other nodes. So, yeah, don't worry about, if it's on the edge, then we'll make sure that the coverage is is full across the whole hex.
Also, can I just add there that we currently have a team that does the network planning. So we say, okay, if there's a 180 that needs to go up here, what's its penetration, what's its potential, what's the population density, when we understand a lot of factors in the Operation AirNode platform, the AirNode Sales Platform. Over time, you'll be able to buy a node and then be able to model what it does yourself, and be able to be self-sufficient in saying, okay, well, actually, there isn't one needed here, or actually, there is 3 more nodes needed here in the middle because this is near a university, and university students are really heavy on the internet. So there'll be different things that you'll be able to do to control the experience yourself. But behind the scenes, we've got everything covered that you just discussed.
Great. Thank you for having me, and I wish you all success in all of the spectrum of your life. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Well,
much. Not too
spectrum.
much Jägermeister either,
Yeah,
Randolph. Chill on the
of
Jaeger.
course, I'll bring it.
Love the spectrum reference. Next up, ENO 22. ENO 22. You're live on Spaces.
That's a good ENO number, isn't it?
Thanks, everyone. This is Abhinay here. I'm owning a ENO 22 already. Looking forward to own one or more, obviously, AirNodes, depending on the cost. So, touching base on a few questions that Alan has already answered, I think. First one is about, I think, Micky, you said this, third-party apps for insurance. Will that be available before the next batch? Or if you purchase in the next batch, can we add on the insurances or purchase the insurance using third party after this next batch if we participate in that?
So it's retrospective. You'll be able to add the insurance to any existing piece of infrastructure.
Okay.
It will be available as soon as we want to get 2 or 3 different providers in place. We've been working for a few months to get the right providers at the right price. We definitely have one now. So this is down to Charles Barnett, and I believe that he's integrating it with the tech team. Whether it will be on the next batch, I'm not sure,
Okay.
but it will be on future batches, absolutely.
Great. That means we understand that it's not a prerequisite for us to start any purchase of AirNodes. Okay.
It's always good in case of lightning, in case of other things, but we want to make it as easy as possible by giving you that within a click. Obviously, you're going to need to sign with the insurer and probably jump off of the World Mobile website to their website.
Yep.
But this is something that we want to make easy, but it makes sense. It makes sense to have
Definitely. It makes sense for any business to have insurance. And obviously, I'm operating through my entity, so that's another way I do auditing as well. That's good for us. Thanks for that, Micky. The next one is about adjusted revenue share split. So Alan has said that 15% to the host and 60% to the operators, 75% of net revenue. That's the default parameters. But is it open for negotiations with the current terms, or that's the terms we go to accept and modify it later point?
Today, it's terms that you need to accept. In the future, there'll be a slider, and I think it will be a very competitive market where people are realizing they can monetize their unused rooftop. So I believe that somebody with 30 properties or 40 properties would be willing to close it with one operator and lower the price. But in today's version and the next couple of batches version, there will not be a slider that allows you to negotiate. In the future, definitely.
Okay. Thanks, Micky. I'll come back again. I'll pass on to others. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we got Cardano Madball.
Madbull in the house.
What's up, my people?
Here it comes.
How are you doing?
All is well, brother. All is well, brother.
I'm hearing you want to be a partner.
Absolutely. I was waiting on a correspondence from you guys. I haven't got. I know you all busy at conventions, so on and so forth, along to the operation.
No, we appreciate you, and we haven't forgotten.
No, I'm not tripping.
Detroit, here we come.
Absolutely, baby. That's what I'm talking about. But I was going to pull the trigger on one of these AirNodes, but it was kind of confused. I was trying to get some questions answered before I did it, and I didn't quite understand. I saw on the map in Reno. I was willing to invest in Reno. Somewhere near the university, it was like a little cluster that was already reserved, and I wanted to do somewhere within that vicinity, but it wasn't. I couldn't get a clear answer as to the whole host operator situation. It says I clicked on one of the hexes, and it had a little surrounding. It was for the 360. It had a surrounding the center point, and then it had a surrounding of the surrounding hexes. But it said I understand that you need to have some type of agreement with a host, and I did not have that, so I was kind of.
No, the agreement is already populated for you. So as soon as you click accept and the host clicks accept, then what would happen is an email will come to you with something to sign, with the DocuSign link, or similar to DocuSign, DigiSign, some platform the tech team are using that's a legally binding platform. And then once both parties have accepted and signed, then you get the option to buy the node. But I appreciate your feedback, and we've got so much feedback already from the community that these changes to the user experience will only get better and better.
Absolutely.
And it's not an infinite amount of getting better. We're pretty there on this platform. We're very happy with the initial launch and how it worked. But we're thinking of putting information bubbles so that if someone is concerned, and I even think that the message has now gone through. If you check your messages in your panel, you'll see it will say at the bottom of it, the next step is once you've clicked accept, check your inbox for the contract. Once you've signed the contract, the buy button will appear. So I believe that was missing on the first couple of hours. But you were keen, man. I appreciate your
I
support.
appreciate you all. You keep up the great work, my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, Detroit, baby.
Detroit Motor City, Motown. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. Iho. I see you down there, Iho. What's up, Iho?
Thank
All
you,
right.
man.
All
See
right.
you soon.
Peace.
Next up, we've got Sadok.
Yes.
You're up.
Yes. Hello, team. Nice to meet you all. I would like
Hi, Sadok.
I would like to ask you something, Micky. Do you hear me?
I hear you
We
loud
Oh,
and
do.
thank
clear.
you. I'm Sadok. I'm from Belgium. Well, I was born in the Netherlands. By my origin are from Tunisia, and I would like to buy some AirNodes with a friend of mine. He's already in Tunisia now for 1 month there, and he contacted already the team. And I'm just asking, is that possible to put some AirNodes also in Tunisia?
Today, no, because Tunisia is a really highly regulated market. The future, absolutely, every country in the world that isn't blacklisted is on our radar, as is in the name, World Mobile. So today, the only place you can buy an AirNode will be USA, specifically Nevada, Reno. Where we'll be in 2 months or 3 months' time, Zanzibar, Pakistan, Mozambique, and a few other countries, as well as the whole of the USA Open. And where we'll be in a year and a half is anybody's guess, but I would imagine a lot more countries open. Tunisia is a great market, very, very expensive, high spending market for the African continent. So yes, it's on our radar. We have some very close friends from Tunisia as well who have asked this, but it's not on our radar this year.
Okay, no problem. Well, if you would like to contact us in the next year, no problem. I'm there for you, and also my friend Mike Lisseveld is also there for us. So don't hesitate and ask us. We are there for you.
Brilliant. Just jump onto the map and click on the partner section and put your name in there, please, because then we have a dedicated team dealing with that. So as soon as the time comes that we open up Tunisia, we'll look at all the partners that have requested.
No problem. I'll will do that. Thank you very much, and keep up the good job.
Thank you, Velo.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Next up, we've got Alex. It's been a while.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Have you done the hot taco challenge yet this morning?
We'll do one, Micky. I promise you, next time we meet, definitely. basically,
Elder needs to be with us. He can eat
yeah,
spicy, but he was shocked when he saw me munching down on chilies. But he can eat spicy, probably spicier than us, I reckon. But we'll see.
the most wanted chili man. So basically, I would like to follow up with what Alan kind of mentioned earlier regarding the installers, that we will have a marketplace for those that are able to install, like certified to install equipment. I'm one of those, for example. I'm CPI certified. So is there a way to, are you going to onboard at
Yes.
some point? Are we?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. You'll obviously be top of the list because we like you a lot. But all jokes aside, absolutely, a marketplace for CPIs in certain regions. When we open up in Canada, Vancouver, you'll be able to put yourself there. If you fancy traveling to do a big job, you'll be able to put yourself anywhere in the United States or
That's
build
the
a
plan.
team to do that.
That's the plan.
So we'll be running a workshop at some point. It could be last minute notice, as in the next couple of weeks, or we might delay that for a couple of months. But we'll be bringing Magnus over. We'll be with Christian. We'll be with some installers, and we'll be taking whoever wants to from the World Mobile community through the education, as well as some beers afterwards, to understand the whole process of what you need to do when you want to install a node and how it should be done properly. We'll also be creating videos. We'll be creating infographics. We'll be creating all the instructions that enable somebody to do it. But there's nothing like learning in the flesh, right? So this is something we plan to do across the whole of the United States of America, and eventually the whole of the world, is to have potentially installers who will take the mantle, who we know are pedigree 5-star, and they'll come and train everybody else at workshops in different places on World Mobile's, with World Mobile's support.
Awesome. So should I, do you suggest connecting with Christian about having like my name
You
down?
should connect. Yeah, you should connect with Josie,
Okay.
and then she will sort everything out. She's making the arrangements now. A couple of the ENO Alliance as well are planning, I think, a trip down to Reno. I should be there in the next couple of weeks. Elge is on the call, so I've also got to go via Dubai. But I'll be heading down to the USA to come and support and crack open the champagne in Reno for the big success there.
Awesome. Maybe I'll meet you there, Micky.
Please, there's no chilies this time, okay? Tio can eat the chilies.
Yeah, sounds good. Talk to you guys later. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we've got time for one more speaker. It's Deepak. One more question, sorry, should I say. Ooh, I think we might have lost Deepak, but Elja, you got your hand up.
Yes, it's not a question. I just noticed all the space. We have a username which is start WOJE Wood, and he is the head of BD of BNB Chain, which is the blockchain of Binance. He was listening to the entire space, so I just saw him and he's a friend. Thank you for listening. I mean, I don't see him much in spaces, but if he's listening to the space, it means there is a high quality of what being shared. So thank you for listening to the space, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Thomas, for coming in. Appreciate it. And thank you very much, World Mobile community. And let it know. Look out for batch 2. Look out for updates. Look out for some great video content that's coming out soon. And I'm looking forward to becoming unstoppable together. Cheers.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.